this is where I store most of my fountain pens. It's actually an old makeup brush case, but I thought this was more important. So if you're familiar with the pen community, you definitely know what these two are. This is a Montblanc and a Parker, and I was very graciously gifted these actually. But these are ballpoints, so I'm not going to really speak a lot about these. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I'm so happy that I have them, but honestly, I don't use them as much as I use these. I'll just let you take a look at them. And obviously, they do write absolutely beautifully. So this is the Montblanc. It is a slim cigar shape. This is the Parker. As you can tell from the clip, it has a black jewel. Gorgeous. And this is a cross. It actually writes just as smoothly as the other two, if not smoother. So yeah, now that we've gotten those out of the way, these are my fountain pen collection up to date. And this one is a vintage that I don't store with the others. I put it in a box because I'm afraid of it getting scratched. Let's just start with probably the most familiar to everybody. This is a Twisty Eco Tea, and this is the limited edition mint version because I love that color. So let's just show you. I did get a medium, and the nib is quite pretty, but also quite small. It's not a size 6 or anything. Obviously, it's a really great pen. That's why it's so popular. The nib is really, really nice, and it writes really smooth as well, with just a hint of feedback depending on the paper that you're using. And I mostly use cheaper papers because I write so much, so it would be really cost ineffective if I only used expensive paper. And it also has this sort of triangular grip, but it's very comfortable. It's not sharp at all. I tend to hold my pen like this sometimes, so it's really nice even if you don't have that grip. This is just a random notebook I had lying around, and I don't really find that I post any of these pens. But yes, this is a gorgeous workhorse. I use this a lot just for taking notes, etc., etc. It has a huge ink capacity, so that's really nice. This is definitely pretty sturdy. I know people have had problems with it cracking though, but I heard their customer service was really good on that front, so hopefully I never even have that problem. That would be really sad. So as you can see, it is decently wet. I just stopped talking so that hopefully you can hear how it writes. And there is a little bit of give to it, so it is pretty fun to write with. This is my first fountain pen, actually. Some of you might recognize what this is. This is a Hongdian. And I really liked it because, one, it's cheap. So that was really nice because I wasn't sure if I was really gonna like writing with fountain pens yet. But also, it's a really matte black aesthetic, and I love how that looks. So, as you can see, the nib is also black, which I really liked because if I wanted a black fountain pen, then I wanted it to be fully black, because I think that looks just better. And it is There is some scroll work on it. I think it's a very sleek and beautiful pen. It is made out of aluminum, I believe, or some sort of metal. So I would be comfortable carrying this outside, and I wouldn't be worried about it getting damaged. I have had this for a month now, and as you can see, the paint is already chipping a little bit near the nib and on this section where it clicks together. That's something to keep in mind if you're looking into this pen, but I have an extra fine. I absolutely love how this writes, and I don't think you can go wrong with this. There might be some quality control issues because it is a cheap Chinese fountain pen, but I don't think you can go wrong with the price that you're paying for this pen. It comes with a converter. As you can see, I'm practically out of ink. But yes, it's absolutely gorgeous, and I adore this pen, especially because it's my first. So as an extra fine, it is pretty smooth, but there is definitely feedback. At first though, there was some scratching, but none that I couldn't handle, and I actually kind of liked how it wrote. The Twisty Eco actually makes more noise when writing, so it does have, in a way, more feedback than this, which really surprises me, because this is a $30 pen and this is a $10 pen, but either way, I'm glad I have them both. Next, let me talk about my vintage. She's really small and so gorgeous. So this is a university fountain pen, and it's a lever filler. It's made out of, I would guess, some sort of celluloid, and there's a little metal cap band here. There is an ink window, which is very nice. This is a Super Point New York nib, and the breather hole is a little diamond, which I think is really cute. And it is a gold-plated nib, steel nib, and the feed, I'm not completely sure what it's made of. It could be ebonite. I haven't done enough research, but the feed does last forever because I bought this unrestored because there are some issues with it, but that's okay because honestly, it's all worth it just to see this shining in the light like that. Wow. And I very much enjoy writing with it. The reason why I even like fountain pens is because I feel like the writing experience is just so much more pleasurable with them, and you can completely customize them to your personality and whatever your needs are. So I find it very inspiring to write with. This one doesn't have a sack inside of it, so I'm using it as a dip pen. So I kind of just repurpose any bottles that I have for ink because I don't want to use the whole bottle while I'm writing, just in case I possibly dip, or just in case it could fall over, or I don't really want to contaminate the whole bottle, so I just put it in another container. I can write 3 pages without even needing to redip it, so the feed is beautiful, this pen is beautiful. I'm so happy with this. as you can see, the feed supports it really well. It is pretty wet as well. There's no flex at all. It's stiff as nails, but Diamine Autumn Oak in this pen is beautiful, perfect. I actually find that when oxidized, Diamine Autumn Oak actually turns into more of a brown color, so I really, really enjoy that. And this is my Waterman. It's a Waterman Expert 1. And as you can see, there's a little bit of damage to the nib, but it is an absolute beauty to write with. It is definitely my smoothest nib up to date. I love the color, all of the gold accents. It's just really beautiful, and it's not too heavy, but it is a little bit heavier. And as I said, I write a lot, and I write for hours at a time, so it's pretty pertinent to me that all of my fountain pens aren't too heavy, because then my hands would get tired out really easily. So this one has practically no feedback at all. It is the wettest writing that I have, and there is some give, but I really wouldn't push any of these pens that I have. These two are also vintage. These are the vintage Sheaffer no nonsense pens. So they are calligraphy nibs. So these two are stub nibs. These two that I have in are fine. They're both fine nibs. The italic fine, because I feel like that's generally small enough to write with. And I do have the medium and broad nibs for both of these pens as well, but I don't really find that I use them that often. So yeah, I like to keep these two in because I love changing my colors very often. So yes, I really enjoy these pens. If you've never tried an italic nib, it's absolutely beautiful. So these are actually small enough where you can use them for everyday writing. Since they're both the same thing, I'm just gonna write with one of them. And this is the F italic nib, the fine. It adds a calligraphic flair to your writing, so that can be really fun when you want a change. So there you can see the italic nib. It's a lot, oops, it was still wet. It's a lot thinner horizontally than vertically, which is what creates this really beautiful script. It is decently wet, and as you can see, the autumn oak is so pretty. It shades really, really beautifully. This is my collection up to date, and I'm so happy with it. I write with basically all of these on a daily basis, or at least every other day. Yeah, that is my full beginner's collection. I really hope you enjoy.